Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. So in our last class, we talked about features of organisms. We covered these guys. That was the dichotomous key. Features of organisms. And so the classification system starts off with the domain, then there's kingdom, phylum, class, order, family, genus, and species. The genus, species, the two of them are used for the binomial nomenclature or the scientific naming. Right, for kingdom, we talked about kingdom, the animal kingdom and the plant kingdom. And within the animal kingdom, when we're talking about features of organisms, we talked about two phyla. Phyla is plural for phylum, and that's mentioned in the book, by the way. Phyla, right? And that was the arthropods and the vertebrates. Right, so the arthropods contain the myriapods and the crustaceans and all those guys. And they mentioned that in general, although it's not scientific, but they're called invertebrates because they don't have a vertebral column. Now, vertebrates, I'm just going to do like a brief introduction over here on the board, and then I'll move to the textbook because there isn't much of a concept to explain. It's just like more of an like information overview. Like you need to go through stuff that they're telling you, and so I'll just we will just use the book for that. So vertebrates. Now, what are vertebrates? So vertebrates are animals that have a vertebral column. To be more specific, right? So these are organisms that have a vertebral column. And so what does that mean? It is sometimes called the spinal column. You have the spinal cord, right, which contains all of our nerves and other stuff related to the nervous system. And around that, right, this is surrounded by a length of bones to be more particular, right? So they are bones that are called vertebra, and they're joined together and they form like a pipe or a tube, like passage inside from which the spinal cord is traveling. And the bones themselves, the purpose is not only structural, right, for us to like be able to move our back and have a bone in our back, like a backbone, obviously that's what it's called. It's also to protect the spinal cord, so it's also to protect the nerves. And this goes all the way to the head, where the spinal cord, this guy.
So is vertebrate a different thing, or is it basically another name for spinal cord?
No, vertebrae are the individual bones. I'll put up an image. So vertebra are the individual bones, like Lego. You can assume like you can think of them as Lego pieces that join together to make the entire vertebral column. So I'll just put up an image to become clearer. Okay. So the spinal cord goes up to the head region and becomes the brain. Right? And the bones, they go up to the head region and they become the skull. And we know that the brain is inside the skull, right? So the skull protects the brain. I don't know if these arrows are making sense to you.
Well, you're speaking, so it makes sense.
Yeah, that works, right? So the skull protects the brain is inside the skull protects the brain. The spinal cord forms the brain when it goes to the head region, and the vertebra forms the skull. So the bones and the nervous system. Now, if I put up an image over here.
So instead of the mushy thing that makes up the brain, the bones, the actual ones, is called vertebrates.
Yeah, so the individual bones, again, let me just get in.
The protection is the vertebrate.
Huh?
The protection of the organs is called the vertebrate, like from the skull to all the way to the
The
spinal cord.
bones, the bones are called the vertebra.
Okay, okay.
So let me just take a screenshot of this guy. And there we are. And fit this guy over here. You can see that?
Yeah.
Okay. So highlight it. So all these individual bones that are numbered, right? You can see it like they're individual bones, pieces, right? Those are the vertebra. Now, of course, you don't need to like know as much detail, and you can see the stuff running inside them. That's the spinal cord. So the spinal cord plus the bones is the vertebral column, which makes vertebrates. The spinal cord is going up, it's forming the brain. The bones are going up, they're forming the skull, right? And that's what we have. And the vertebra, what they have, one thing, right, are these projections. So,
It's like
huh?
it's like a cocoon, like the bones
You
protect the spinal cord basically.
you could say that. That works, right? And so the vertebrae are like cylindrical bones, and each carry an arch on their upper surface to protect the spinal cord. So where's the whiteboard? Right. So this is mentioned in the text. So each vertebra has an arch on its upper surface to protect the spinal cord. Right. So these projections that you see,
The spiky stuff, yeah.
yeah, that's what they're talking about.
Oh, okay.
Right, that is to protect the spinal cord that's moving inside, that has all of our nerves and other stuff, and that's
Oh, okay. Now I got it. Okay, okay.
right. So the whole thing, the whole yellow and the whole green and the whole blue and the whole purple, the four colors, the whole thing is a vertebra.
Okay.
Like this is the T4 vertebra, and this is like the L3 vertebra.
So it is a vertebra. Okay.
Huh? The whole thing, the
Yeah.
spiky part and the inner part. Right now, obviously, this is two-dimensional, and so, right, if you were to take a look at a three-dimensional picture, a three-dimensional image of this guy, it would obviously make more sense, right? I think I'll use this again, right? It's, you don't need to like know the exact structure of this, but it helps in explanation, then that works. So this is what it looks like. Put it here. Yeah. Do you see that? This is like this is like the bony, the projection part, the spiky part.
The hard stuff is the vertebra, and
The whole thing
thing,
is the vertebra. The whole thing.
yeah, the hard.
Yeah.
Okay.
Right. And you see that they're in pieces. So this is one piece. Then they've got the lower piece, right? And they have this like hollow, like channel from which the spinal cord is passing. So this part over here at the back, this part over here at the front, the spiky part, this whole thing is a vertebra. Together, all the vertebra make the vertebral column.
Okay. And the thing inside, like the red ones are nerves, right?
Yeah, so those are nerves, they're moving out, and inside is like, you know, the nerve cells and like,
All the spinal cord and everything.
yeah, and so they're like myelin sheet covering and everything. So we will get to that in a later chapter.
Is I know this is out of It might be out of syllabus question, but like, is the bone marrow somewhere here?
No, the bone marrow is, I mean, bones do have bone marrow, but right, that's different from the spinal cord.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
I mean, from the spinal cord,
Okay.
right? So if that's what you were asking.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, now the interesting thing about vertebrates, right, is they also mentioned that for many vertebrates, like the skull has jaws, and the jaws usually contain teeth, not always, right? One
Jaws.
thing, huh?
Okay. Jaws don't always contain teeth.
No, not
Okay.
always. Most of the time they do. Usually they do, but not always,
Okay.
right? Uh, so and if you really want to see like uh, you know
A jaw without teeth.
no, like a picture of a skull that looks like it's from a horror movie. Look at a picture of a skull of a toddler,
Oh shit.
right?
Yeah. You mean right?
Huh?
You mean the X-ray of the baby skull, right?
Yeah. Have you ever seen that?
I may have came across it, and all the teeth are like down there in the jawline, like it haven't grown yet, so it kind of does look
Oh,
like.
it I'll put it up since we're mentioning it. I'll put it up. So this is not an X-ray. Let me just go back.
I mean,
And
everything kind
there
of
you
crazy.
go.
Oh shit! Oh my god, that looks actually weird.
Yeah, that like I said, it's out of like a horror movie. And
I've
right,
usually seen an X-ray, but never like this.
right. And so the reason why is, kids have like what we call milk teeth,
Yeah.
right? The teeth they get initially and then the teeth they get later, they're born with those teeth. They don't develop
Oh,
later. And so when, as they grow older, the permanent teeth push the baby teeth out and take their place. That's what their skull is like.
damn, damn. Wow. Okay.
So the way, like, archaeologists, they find uh skeletons, and then they, like, use 3D models to create these, what the creature might look like. If we did not know that this is a skull of a human toddler, we
We
might
be
we might
discussing this right now.
no, I mean, we might have ended up, making this some kind of like monster.
Yeah.
So yeah, the 3D models that we make just based on the skeletons are very misleading. Anyway, right? Let's get back to the point.
Yeah.
So, right, body temperature. Now over here, there are 5 classes that we're going to talk about within the vertebrates, and those are fish, amphibia, reptiles. Let me just put that over here. Fish, amphibia, reptiles, and then you've got birds and mammals. So, for example, birds tend not to have teeth, right, in their jaws. So now these 3 guys, the fish, amphibia, and reptiles, these are vertebrates. Obviously, they have a like vertebral column, and these guys are called cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded vertebrates.
Huh?
They are cold-blooded vertebrates.
Yes. Now, this is misleading, right? This is like a very common term. It's not a scientific term, and right, it sort of gives the impression that the temperature of the blood is low, and it's cold.
Yeah.
What it actually means is that they cannot self regulate.
They cannot create body heat on their own.
Yes, good. So they cannot self-regulate body temperature, right? They don't have mechanisms to regulate their body temperature, right? Whereas these guys, the birds and the mammals, they're called warm-blooded.
Let me guess. They can self-regulate body temperature.
Right. So they can regulate, self-regulate body temperature.
By the way, is that amphibia or amphibians?
Amphibia. Right. Amphibia talks about amphibians. Now, what these guys do, the cold-blooded guys, now also, right, the proper term, which is not in like given in your text, but the proper term is poikilothermic. So that's systematic. So the scientific term for these guys is poikilothermic. I'm putting that over here with an asterisk. Poikilothermic. And what that means is these are animals whose body temperature changes with the temperature of their surroundings.
So they adapt well.
It's difficult to adapt actually, like to maintain their, like, for example, if it becomes colder than they'd like, they need to go out into the sun, right, and stay under the sun to become warm. If it becomes too hot, then they need to find shade to, otherwise they'll overheat.
Yeah.
So body temperature changes with surrounding temperature. So again, they cannot self-regulate their internal body temperature. Right, so that's the term. And I believe for warm-blooded, it's homeothermic. Let me just check. Yeah. So homeothermic.
Yeah.
So these guys who are the ones who are able to keep a stable body temperature.
Okay.
Right, regardless, I mean, in most cases, regardless of the surrounding temperature. And when we say body temperature, we mean like the core body temperature, like inside, right? The working, not like the surface skin temperature. That's not what we're talking about.
The
Internal temperature, yes. Okay, clear?
Yeah.
Okay, now we move to the book. So
Yeah.
let me just switch screens for you.
Yeah.
Just Google Meet does not like Adobe for some reason.
Yeah.
Can you see?
Yeah.
Okay. So let's start by talking about fish. Right, so fish are cold-blooded vertebrates. Many of them have, in fact, you know what? Even though this is very, summarized in itself, let's just take a look at the tables. We've got another table over here, right? So the fish examples are trout, rahu, and sharks. They have scales on their bodies.
What's Rahu?
It's a type of fish.
And trout as well?
Yeah, they're all examples of fish.
Okay.
Right? So they have fins for movement, which also help them with balance. Okay. the way they reproduce is they produce jelly-covered eggs in the water. So I don't know if they have an image of fish eggs.
Is it like how frogs produce eggs? Like they are mostly jelly
Yeah,
covered.
similar. Yeah, so they don't have a picture of the fish eggs. They do have like the frog eggs over here. So those
Yeah.
are right. Their sensory organs, they have eyes, they do not have ears. They have a lateral line along the body for detecting
Fishes
vibration.
don't have ears,
Fish don't have ears.
so they can't hear.
Technically, yeah. No, they can't.
Oh, they're deaf.
Well, technically, right? But they do sense vibrations in the body. They do sense chemical, like
Also, like they depend on the other features of the body, like they
yeah.
feel the
So
sound.
basically the way we process sound, like our hearing is also like, as you know from physics, like sound are
Travel.
waves,
Yeah.
right? And so they're basically vibrations in the air,
Yeah.
right? And so our ears pick that up, and right, that's processed by our brain to mean something. And so fish are able to do that by vibrations in the water. So they don't have
Okay.
ears, but by a stretch, you could say they can hear, no, not in like the typical sense,
Yeah.
right? But yeah,
Yeah.
in a sense, they're also like deaf, like snakes. Snakes don't have ears.
Is it?
Like
Oh, okay.
I mean, no, sorry, they have ears, but they're deaf.
Snakes have ears, but they're deaf.
Yeah.
I've never seen their ears, honestly.
Oh, the ears differ, right? So the ears that we have, this external part of the ear, this is only for certain animals like mammals and stuff, right? The actual ear is the part that's inside.
Oh, okay. For example, the birds here, they're mostly
They
like a hole covered
yeah,
with fur.
yeah, but they don't have this outer part, right? This is called the pinna, if I'm not
Yeah.
mistaken, right? So birds are by no means deaf, right? In fact, they communicate by sound. And so right, they do have ears, they have the internal structure of the ear, they just don't have the external part like we do, right? Cats and
Yeah.
dogs and elephants, and then they have those external structures, right? Oh yeah, it's given over here, ears with pinna for mammals. Okay, anyway, let's not get sidetracked again. So they can detect vibrations in the water, and they are cold-blooded, and they have gills for breathing. So they don't have lungs, they have gills, right? So those are different. Next are amphibia. So they include frogs, toads, newts. They have moist skin. They have 4 limbs, back feet. The back feet are often webbed to make swimming more efficient. Right, so they've got webbing between their feet, skin between their, like what you would assume to be their fingers. Okay, like you've seen duck feet.
Okay.
Like, if you just seen like frog feet, then obviously that works as well.
Yeah.
I think they've given that over here. Yeah, so if I just zoom in, so you see the webbing over here, like the skin part.
Yeah.
Yeah, that.
And so that's a web. Okay.
Yeah, it's not like spider web. That's not what they mean. If that's what was coming to mind.
No. Okay.
Okay, they produce jelly-covered eggs in water, so kind of similar. And they're also cold-blooded, and they have lungs, right? So not gills, and they're also able to breathe using their skin.
Their skin is used. Okay.
For gas exchange, yes, along with their lungs.
Okay.
Yeah. Then you've got the reptiles, include lizards and snakes. They have dry skin with scales, right? Except for the snakes, lizards tend to have 4 legs, right? Snakes don't have legs. They produce eggs with a rubbery, waterproof shell that they, lay on land.
How does snake produce eggs?
What do you mean how?
Like, where does it come out of?
Uh, the part that's for laying eggs?
I mean, they only have mouth.
No, they do have, like, the female snakes do have an organ for laying eggs. They produce eggs, they lay eggs. The male snakes and the female snakes obviously have reproductive organs. That's how they reproduce,
Oh, okay.
right? And they also, like, produce digestive chemicals for whatever they eat. It's not like it's just a mouth and a tube that's like a dead end. It's not like that.
Well, I thought it was like a tube, not gonna lie.
It is like a tube, but not the way you like put it,
Yeah, okay.
right?
Okay.
And obviously, if they are eating, then they're also producing waste. You think of that.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay, so these guys produce eggs with a rubbery waterproof shell that they lay on land. Right, and so turtles are also reptiles. They've got eyes, they've got ears. They're also cold-blooded, and they just have lungs for breathing, so no breathing from the skin.
Okay, I have a question for turtles. This the shell that they have, is it like their skull? Like, because
It is, it
that
is, it is part of their skeleton. It's not their, like, it is connected, I guess, to the skull, but from what I've seen, a turtle shell is part of their skeleton.
yeah, because I've seen like the like picture of it. It's like basically the shell is like all bones and everything, nothing
Yeah.
inside.
I mean,
Yeah.
the organs and the meat and everything else that it's surviving on is inside. So it's like
Yeah.
not that it's empty. Or you mean just the shell itself? The shell is, yes, it's
Yeah, the
right.
shell is empty.
Yeah, I mean, sure, but it is like a protective covering. It's part, from what I know, it's part of the skeletal structure.
Okay.
Okay, then we come to the homeothermic or the warm-blooded guys. So we have the sparrow, like the birds, examples of sparrows, pigeons, name any bird, right? They've got feathers and they have scales on their leg. If you've ever looked at a bird's leg in like close enough, you have noticed that. Like maybe look at the legs of a chicken or a pigeon,
I mean,
right?
yeah, they have like lines on them, if that's what you call the
Yeah,
scales.
so those are like hard, right? And so scales, and they've got two wings and two legs, right? Now, if
Yeah.
you're asked like how many limbs do they have, they've got four limbs. Limbs, limbs, right? Which includes the two wings and the two legs.
Or the limbs is basically the whole body, basically.
No, limbs are the appendages that help you in movement,
Also
right?
like hands and legs.
Yeah, so in the case of birds, they're legs and wings.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Right? They produce eggs with a hard shell and they're laid on land. They have eyes and ears. They're warm blooded. Right? They've got lungs for breathing and they've got beaks.
Hmm.
And finally, you've got mammals, which include the mouse, the striped hyenas, and creatures known as Homo sapiens, humans. Right?
Okay.
They have fur. So technically, the hair on our bodies is
It's fun.
fur. It's fur. Yes.
Okay.
We have, you see four limbs, the four, right? Because in like, except for humans and maybe kangaroos and some guys, we don't have like it's difficult to distinguish. Like the back legs are obviously legs, but like in case of bears, they're walking on their legs with like four legs, but they can stand on two legs and use the front two legs to grab stuff. And so maybe their hands at that time, so they're right generally this, like, okay, man, four limbs,
They're
how?
hybrid.
No, they're yeah, hybrid, whatever, right? So it's like four limbs, like whatever you're doing, you've got four of them, we'll go with that.
So like lions and tigers, they're four limbs.
Yeah, all mammals have four limbs, excluding whales and dolphins and stuff.
Well, dolphin, I don't think that dolphins have legs.
Yeah, they don't. That's what I'm saying.
Yeah.
right?
By
Dolphins.
the way, the hands are like their I forgot the name for that. The thing that they swim with, what is it called?
The flippers,
Yeah, is that what they're called?
the
Are those
front
hands?
fins,
Yeah,
fins,
yeah, 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 yeah,
flippers.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah.
I mean,
That's it.
I don't know if those will be classes. So like, whales and dolphins are like, oddities, so to speak, in that,
Yeah.
because they technically don't have fur like the way other mammals do. They don't have those limb type things. They do produce live young. Anyway, let's talk about mammals in general. So they do produce live young. They've got eyes and they've got ears with pinna. So that's the external flap I was talking about earlier.
That
They're
we have.
yeah, we dogs, cats, monkeys, others, elephants, right? Mice, obviously. They've got like, so mammals have lungs for breathing. The females have mammary glands to produce milk to feed the young, and they've got 4 types of teeth, which we will cover later. But they're like, the incisors
Who
and
has
the
teeth?
mammals,
Oh, okay.
right? The incisors, the canines, the premolars, and the molars,
Okay.
right? Now, do you know what mammals are called mammals?
Huh?
Do you know why mammals are called mammals?
Oh, no, why?
Because of the
Oh, okay. Okay.
right. So these glands that produce milk in the females, right? In
That's
fact, yeah,
that makes
yeah,
them mammals?
so that are silent. So mammals basically have two, like, features that make them mammals. One is that the female have mammary glands that produce milk,
Okay.
and the second is that they have hair,
Oh, okay.
right?
Okay. But doesn't birds have hair as well? Like fur?
They're called feathers. They're technically not called hair,
Okay, okay.
right? Then you can debate, well, mammals produce live young, and so there are certain fish like guppies and mollies that also produce live young, but they are not mammals,
Live young meaning?
meaning that they give birth to, new fish directly, like baby fish. They don't lay eggs,
Oh, okay, okay, okay.
right? So I
I
mean,
got.
when you look at the details, you'll find all sorts of organisms, all sorts of creatures, right? All sorts of fascinating creatures. So yeah, I mean, this is obviously very generalized what you see.
Yeah.
Okay, very generalized. Okay, after that, what we have is the five kingdom scheme. So why is it the five kingdom? Initially, scientists would go like, there's just two kingdoms, plants and animals. But then there were problems, and like, okay, fine, what do we do with the fungi, the bacteria, the single cell organisms? What do we do with these? Because they're neither plant nor animal. And so then they went with the five kingdom scheme. So we've talked about kingdom animal and kingdom plant, right? And then there's fungus, prokaryote, and protoctist, right? And still sometimes you will find organisms that don't fit. So for example, in protoctists, right, there are some that have chlorophyll, right? And
Chlorophyll, the one plant?
yeah, so the stuff plants have to convert the energy of the sun into food. uh, so right, some protoctists have chlorophyll and they are similar to algae. And algae are actually part of the plant kingdom, but protoctists are a different kingdom of their own. So again, like if you look at specifics, like just like I talked about the fish that are live bearers, right? They give birth to young fish directly. They don't lay eggs. And so when you look at individual examples, you will find that, oh well, this one's odd. It doesn't, like, it has certain characteristics of that kingdom or that class or phylum, whatever. And this one's like, and so individually, right, in cases might be differ, but in so these classifications are more general, right, to fit in the majority. Make sense?
Okay. Yeah.
Are you sure?
Yeah.
Okay. Then you got
Wait,
virus. Yeah,
I had a question.
yeah, sure.
How is prokaryote and protoctist are they kind of related or they are different, totally different things?
They're different.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
they might have certain overlapping features, but otherwise, like obviously, they're different enough to be called a different kingdom.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. Got it.
Okay. So viruses are not included in any kingdom because first of all, scientists debate whether there are even living organisms or not.
Now, why
That's
would they be? Why would they be in the First of all, don't virus. Wait, when you say virus, I mean the one that makes you sick.
mm,
That's what I'm talking about. Or like the one you're talking about is completely different thing.
no. I mean, the ones that make us ill are also viruses. I mean, there are many kinds. Like not all viruses infect human beings. There are
Oh,
many. There are many different kinds of viruses. But yes, those are also the ones.
okay.
Right. So the first debate is whether viruses are considered to be living organisms or not.
And I hope not.
Right. I mean, how does that make a difference to what they're doing?
Yeah.
Right. Also, they don't have proper cells, so they don't have cell membranes, they don't have a cytoplasm, they don't have ribosomes, and when they reproduce, right, they don't feed, they don't respire, excrete, or grow, and they only reproduce when they infect, another living organism and take over its cell and machinery, right, its mechanisms. So, right, these are problems with classification. Now, having said that, right, again, I'm using the O level book because of the way it is, right? The IGCSE book I have. This one's better than the one I was using the last time. Still, the three domain scheme in the IGCSE book is also going further, so you don't need to know that. It's not part of the syllabus. So we'll skip that, obviously.
So, is the same as the thing written here? Like there are fines, a fine scheme
Yeah,
is
so
here.
so it's mentioned here. Uh, the
Does
five
the
the five
scheme?
kingdom scheme,
Oh, okay, okay, got it. Yeah.
right? Like I said, like the O level in the IGCSE syllabus is uh, about 95% the same. There are only very minor differences. The majority of differences are what, like in the O level syllabus, something might be going further, and in the IGCSE syllabus, that might be included as part of the syllabus. Right. Also within the IGCSE syllabus, there's the core and extended syllabus. So the yellow part is the extended syllabus.
Oh, okay,
Right.
okay.
And obviously, you're doing the whole thing, so all of it. Right.
Yeah.
The green boxes I explained earlier, right there, it mentions going further. So this is not part of it. Like you can read it if you want, right? But it's not part of the syllabus.
All right, move on.
Okay. So the plant kingdom, right? Plants are multicellular. They're made up of many cells. They have a cell wall that's made up of cellulose, and they contain chloroplasts that have chlorophyll, right? So chloroplasts are the organelle that contain the pigment chlorophyll. Now, this would have made more sense if we did chapter 1 first, or in like your case, chapter 2 in the IGCSE book, where they discuss the structure of cells. That would have been better, but anyway,
Yeah. Okay.
right? So plants make their own food by photosynthesis. We'll talk about photosynthesis later, not in too much detail, but we will. And so the syllabus only requires knowledge of two groups of the plant kingdom, and those are ferns and flowering plants. So all of these guys you see in the illustration over here, these are all flowering plants. Right? There's a difference in what are called monocotyledons and dicotyledons.
Okay.
Right? And then you've got all of these ferns. Right? Maybe you've seen some of them. Maybe you have like plants at home, like maybe ferns. I don't know
That plant looks interesting. The one that shows in the image.
which one. This one.
Yeah.
Hmm. These are young fern leaves.
Oh, okay. I've never seen a plant like that before.
Okay. So ferns are land plants with well-developed structures. Their stems, leaves, and roots are very similar to those of flowering plants. The stem is usually completely below ground. In bracken, so these guys, the stem grows horizontally below ground, sending up leaves at intervals. So the stem is underground, and only what you can see are only the leaves. The roots grow directly from the stem. So right, the roots are under the ground, and right, they're growing from the stem directly. Right, so there's no part of the stem that you would normally like. Okay, fine. This is the top part that has the leaves. Let me like get a pen. Right. So this is like the stem, and you have the top part that has the leaves, and then maybe some empty space over here, and the roots at the bottom. Like not like that.
Oh, okay.
The stem and leaves have sieve tubes and water conducting cells like those in the xylem and phloem. So over here, they mention chapter 7. So we'll look at xylem and phloem and everything, sieve tubes later in detail. So don't worry too much about it. Just know that this stuff exists. The leaves of ferns vary from one species to another. So you can see these, right? The leaves are different. But there are several cells thick. Again, we look at the structure of leaves later.
By the way, can you does the fern include in the leaf?
Huh?
The ferns?
Yeah.
Can you explain them again? Like, what is it? I didn't understand. Fern.
You didn't understand. Okay.
Like, if you okay, fern are they like basically a plant name?
They are plants, yes.
Okay,
They
okay,
are a type of plant. Let me
okay.
just, okay. Right, whiteboard time. So what they're saying is for the stem of ferns,
Yeah,
in fact, I need more space. So let's say this is the ground.
yeah.
The stem of ferns is under the ground. So this is stem of ferns. Right, let's say stem. And what you see outside, right, whatever like shape they had, are just the leaves.
Oh, so the stem is not the normal stem that you usually see in flowers.
No, the actual stem of the plant is underground.
The roots.
The roots come directly from the stem, and obviously that's also underground.
Oh, okay. So these are completely different thing from the usual plants.
Yes.
Okay.
Makes sense now?
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
Okay, let's go back then.
Yeah. Okay.
Mm, the only annoying part about using Google Meet is having to switch. Okay, so xylem and phloem and everything, we'll talk about that later. Being several cells thick, they were in upper and lower epidermis and palisade cells and spongy mesophyll cells and everything. So we'll actually take a look at all of these cell types later. Right now, it's like, okay, fine. So, right, they have that. Ferns produce gametes but no seeds. So gametes are the cells that are responsible for reproduction. Okay.
Okay.
Gametes are the cells that are responsible for reproduction. So normally with plants like flowering plants, you find seeds. Ferns don't have seeds. They produce the reproductive cells. Right. So you've got the right male plant and the female plant, and they each have their gametes, and somehow the gametes come into contact, right, and then they give rise to a new plant.
Oh, okay. So that's like basically the plants are producing more plants.
Well, yes, that's what they do. That's what reproduction is,
Yeah. Okay.
right?
Yeah.
And so obviously like gametes are there in flowering plants as well, right? So we'll take a look at that as well later, much later, right? Near like
Are
the
gametes like eggs?
no, they're I mean the egg, to use the general term, is the female gamete.
Oh, okay. Okay.
Okay, is the female gamete, so it's the female reproductive cell. The egg is a very general term for that,
Okay.
right? The scientific term for that is ovum,
Oh, okay.
right? The male gametes are the sperm, right? So it's not like in general, right? If it's male gametes, then they're called sperm.
So, okay. Basically, this plant does not give out more seeds.
It doesn't produce seeds. It has those reproductive cells, and those cells interact and give rise to new plants.
Oh, okay. So you don't have to. So once the plant is planted, you don't have to make more of them.
I mean, you don't have to do anything, right?
No, I mean,
If
when you plant more of the same plant, you get what I mean. I mean the seeds.
well, you don't have seeds. Now there might be a way of propagating them. I'm not familiar with that, right? But if they're healthy, then they will propagate themselves. So it's mentioned over here, right? The zygote. Now what's the zygote? The zygote is the like the baby in the very starting, right? It gives rise to new fern plants, which then produce single-celled spores from many sporangia on its leaves, right? They are formed on the lower side of the leaf, but their position depends on the species of fern, right? So I think they have an image over here on the next page. There you go, right? So
Yeah.
that is going to form spores. Those spores are going to be released. They're going to go into the soil, and that's going to give rise to new fern plants.
Oh, okay.
And this
Oh,
is
and
the
what is this called exactly?
sporangia,
Oh, okay.
right? So the sporangia release spores, right?
And what's
On
the
the
zygote
on
again?
zygote is like when the male and female gametes combine,
Okay.
right? That is called the zygote.
It's say that again.
When the male and female gametes combine,
Okay.
that is called the zygote.
Basically, the product that is formed.
I mean, it would technically it wouldn't be wrong to call it the product, though that's not what you want to say.
Yeah.
Okay, so let me just write this down over here for clarity. So ferns produce gametes, which are reproductive cells, right? When the male and female gametes combine, right, that makes the zygote.
Okay.
Okay,
Okay.
and that zygote produces, right, it gives rise to a fern plant. It produces spores, so they are sporangia,
So
right?
zygote acts like a seed to produce another of the same leaf.
It's not a seed. It's like, you know,
Kind of like.
the zygote is like the very initial stage of a new plant,
Oh, okay.
right? So sporangia are capsules, right? So they are like containers for spores, and those spores contain these new plants, right?
Okay.
And so they're on the underside of leaves, so on the lower side, and they're, you know, spread and to they reach the soil, and they grow new plants, new ferns.
Okay.
Clear?
Yeah.
Right, now there isn't a lot left. I believe we'll be able to wrap this up, hopefully, inshallah, next class. Right?
Inshallah.
And so
Okay.
this was a slightly lengthier chapter. It did take a bit of time, but it was also like the starting for us. And so one thing that we need to do is also pick up the pace, because we do want to complete the syllabus in good time.
Yeah.
Right? So yeah, so right, obviously we will spend as much time as required, but one thing I will be doing is I will be, right, for the most part, unless I like it, it's just information. And like even now when I was discussing it, I thought it was okay, but you need clarification, so I moved to the whiteboard. Right?
Mm-hmm.
And
Yeah.
so I will be using the whiteboard, and what I'll be doing is I'll be like putting up very summarized point, like the main point, the main idea that you need to know for the chapter. And what I'll ask you to do again is to read the text. Right? So
Okay.
once I explain the main concepts, I will ask you to read the text, and right, you should be keeping up with it, so that in the subsequent classes, like the following classes, if there's something from the text that wasn't clear, you can ask.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah.
That way obviously we'll be on top of things. So again, right, I'll be summarizing the main concepts and leave the detailed reading to you. So I won't touch like each and every detail that's in the text, or especially if they're given like a lot of examples. So I won't go into each and every example. I'll just like mention one example that helps explain the concept, maybe, right?
Yeah.
And then move on. So the rest of the reading is on you.
Okay. Okay.
Okay.
Got it.
So anything about today's class?
No.
All right, then I'll see you next time, inshallah.
Inshallah. Okay then. Allah Hafiz.
Allah Hafiz.